sunshines. How art thou? How art thou? This is Creative Stitching Diva, Shana, the Graphghan Queen, and I am here to mentor your Monday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Hello, how art thou? Nice to see ya. So how aren't you? I was trying to get some others to come on that are really scared and nervous to do a Graphghan. I was trying to get them to come on so that they could explain why they're scared and nervous to do a Graphghan. And guess what? They scared and nervous to come on here. So that is not gonna work at all. You can't be scared and nervous. Come on here, just ask me how do you do a Graphghan. Like, yeah, no. But yeah, so I'm trying to find better ways of helping everyone out, especially those who need the help, because I think that Graphghanning is the most beautiful thing in the world. I love it. It's like, to me, it's like a puzzle. So you know how you make a puzzle and the more you go, the more you can see what the image is. You don't know exactly what it is, but you know that it's gonna, come out looking nice. And when you're following the box or whatever paper that they give you to look at, that puzzle is nothing compared to what you just completed. So that's kind of sort of how I feel a Graphghan is. I feel a Graphghan is like a puzzle, and the puzzle comes to life. So that's kind of sort of why I love Graphghans. And not only that, I find that I also love the fact that I can create whatever I want. So if I say I wanted to create, a doll baby and make the doll baby say hello or something like that, I could do that. If I wanted to make the sun rise and have like a scripture underneath, I can do that. I could do anything I wanted to do. I'm not a great drawer. I don't know how to draw at all. At all. I don't know how to draw. But the fact that I can do this, it's almost like a wish come true, just in a different type of way. It's like me doing graphic designing. I don't know how to draw, but when I do graphic designing, it's like it's almost like I'm drawing, but not really. That's kind of sort of like Graphghan. When you are creating that Graphghan from a pattern, because that's basically what you're doing, you're following the pattern. When you follow that pattern and you create that Graphghan, it's like, wow, I just did that. Don't get me wrong, some of them are so boring, I can't get through them. I just can't. Especially the orders that are just so boring, and it's only but so much I could do. But when I'm finished, the customer, I call them my supporters, they love it. They love it. So it makes me feel good, and it makes me realize that what I'm doing is something that a lot of people would cherish. It would be a great keepsake, and it's a good moneymaker for crocheters. So I asked a couple of people, why are you nervous? Like, what makes you nervous? What makes you feel anxiety when you are thinking of doing a Graphghan? Because I know you want to do it because you say you want to do it. Some people even buy the patterns. But when you actually get ready to do it, it's like, okay, I messed up. I'm putting it down, and then don't start again. That we can't do. So I'm going to try to see if I can use this to help those who are nervous, to find out why you're nervous and tell you what others had told me why they're nervous. And let's see if we can move past it and put you on another wavelength, because once you start graph canning, man, it's like an addiction. The thing about it is hard if you want to take it to certain places, like travel with it. I don't make it hard because I have a Diva bag everywhere I go. So, and then you try to have the big pocketbooks, the big bags that are like designer bags. You want to look like a diva with your yarn, look like a diva with your yarn, and just carry all of your different skeins or put them in bobbins. Like, there's different ways. I think that everything altogether is so overwhelming. So it makes you very leery on trying to start it. It makes you very leery on trying to finish it. It makes you leery on even trying to think that you are even going to even do one. So let's see. Who is Libra? Libra Moon. I'm coming out the cut for this one out. Always wanted to try, but I'm nervous. That little princess calling my name to make her my favorite niece. Aw. Man, you better come on. You can do it. I don't know who you are, but we gonna talk, because I think you're missing out on something. Because I think so what it is when you are crocheting, right? You see inspiration. You see what other people are doing. You see how they're doing it. And then you're like, okay, I can do that. Where's the pattern? How did you do it? What YouTube did you see? And you go on it. The thing about a Graphghan is you don't have that. You don't have that direct connection to that specific thing that you wanted to do. And it's like, well, where do I start? Where do I begin? This is overwhelming. So that's why I decided to do Graphghan University. Graphghans University is the Facebook group that I have that I decided to start. I don't know. I think it was last year. Yeah, I think it was last year when I decided to start it. I think it was mainly because of the pandemic and so many people wanted to learn. I thought that it would be something great that we could do on a continuous basis for everyone to get into the Graphghan world. So there is a difference between Graphghan and intarsia and tapestry. Graphganning is similar to intarsia. Graphghan and intarsia is similar. It's almost the same exact thing. The thing is, Graphghan, you're following the graph to make a blanket. Graph, Afghan, put them together, Graphghan. And tapestry is what they used back in the days to make like bowls and baskets and different things that they could hold their stuff in, because this was back in the days where they didn't have too many pots and stuff like that. So they would make the beautiful baskets and put items inside of it. But when they did it, what they did was they took the thread and all of the colors and crocheted all around it. When they did that, it also made it thick so that it can hold up. And that's what tapestry is. When I first started doing the Graphghan, I realized that I was doing tapestry. I didn't realize it until maybe later on, but again, I had crochet mentors. The mentors were able to tell me, well, one specific one, she was able to tell me how to change colors and where she got her patterns from, and I took that information, absorbed it, and did my own thing. That's how I found some groups on Facebook, and that was how I started the whole graphing thing. This was back in 2011, 2012. So I've been doing this for a hot minute, and I've never stopped. I wanted to at one point in time, but then I realized not only that this is where the money is, this is where my heart is. This is where, I could go make whatever, but then graphing is where my heart is, because I just love creating stuff that no one has. I love creating keepsakes. I love creating photos and making like mixing up some type of images and creating something that kind of sort of resembles that family or that baby. And it basically was a dream come true for me. Now, I think that one of the people who told me that they are very nervous about doing Graphghan, they mentioned that every single time she starts, the numbers just does not add up. Being that the numbers don't add up every time she would do the graph, it was just a mess. So I think that's another reason why some people would just do written instructions. I don't like written instructions, but if it works for you, do it. Do whatever you need to do to make it work for you. So being that she said that was something that she was nervous about because it never worked out, I asked her, did she ask me? No, she didn't. And we were cool, like, for the longest of time. I just never knew why she never asked me. I said I could have helped you. But then I just told her to try the written instructions. Did she try it yet? No. So, that's another issue. You just gotta do it. You gotta just do it. Just pick it up and do it. I would start slow and I would start small, and I would try to get, like, in Graphghan University, I have some sample graphs. Sample graphs are like the 10 by 15 or 15 by 20 or 15 by 15. Those are really tiny sample images that you could do to learn how to do a Graphghan. And basically, the main thing of a Graphghan is changing your colors. Changing your colors and reading the graph. If you can read the like a regular pattern, you can read the graph. Even if you can't read a regular pattern, you can still read the graph. I'm gonna help you do that today. Let me see. I gotta put my camera on. I just wish that this 4,000 resolution camera would work well. The 4,000 resolution camera that I purchased does not work well. And it's not the camera fault, it's kind of sort of my fault because I missed something. But yeah, I'm gonna put up the camera and tell me in the description. I'm gonna even write it down. What is it that makes you nervous about a Graphghan? So I can answer. I can only answer what others have given me, but I want to answer if anyone specifically have. I want to answer. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you different things. I also have a video I did not too long ago, like 4 months ago, on the common Graphghan mistakes. That might be something that others might want to take a look at because the mistakes are very common and it's very easy to do. So the awareness. Let me see. I'm gonna do a cross. You know, a cross in the heart is like the easiest thing ever. Do a cross or heart. Those are the really, 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 really simple patterns to start with. Let me pull it up. Where are you? Okay. So this is a simple graph that many get really intimidated by. It's really not as bad as you think. I'm trying to tag my question. Nervous. What makes you nervous? What? What did I do? Okay, Graphghans. So I'm going blind. Like my eyes are so bad now that it's really hard sometimes to say. Oh wait, let me see. I'm intimidated by what I don't know, I guess. I imagined that I'd be handling different color yarns at the same time. It seems hard. You just gotta go out and do it. But I'm gonna help you with that in a few seconds. Let me do this part real quick. So the graph. The graph is, let me pull it up a little bit more. Okay. So the graph, all of them has the regular, the Y and the X. So it's the side, this side right here is the width. So this is how many chains you're gonna make. +1 if you want to add +1 or +2 if you're doing HDC. I don't do any pluses. But that right there is how many chains. And then this is the rows. How many rows you're gonna go up. So this is 20 stitches across and 20 rows. And I think the most intimidating thing about this part is the chains. When you're doing your foundation and you are doing your chains, a lot of us get mixed up with the 1 chain, 2 chains. Are you going to do that 20 plus 1 or that 20 plus 2? I think that's what gets a lot of people mixed up. So when I start, I always just do the number of how many widths across. So if it's 150, I would do 150 chains. If it's 120, I would do 120. If it's 20, I would do 20. I don't add the +1 or +2 or +3. I don't add that at all. I tend to do that because the chain gives a little loop at the end. You kind of sort of want that chainless look, which is almost like a straight edge. So a lot of people ask in a lot of my blankets, how do you get your sides to be straight? Not all the time. Sometimes I'm rushing and I just let it go because I know I'm going to do a border at the end. But a lot of times my ends are straight because I don't do chains. So that's one thing I may suggest if you are very intimidated about starting a graph, doing it in with no chain. It should be able to help. The thing about it is, in the beginning, to get me to actually do chains without that +1, it was kind of like, how am I gonna do that? Like some people can't get over the fact that you just gotta turn your hook over and put it in that first chain, that first chain to make that first stitch. I think in the beginning I was so anti not doing it because to me I felt like I couldn't reach over. But then one day I tried it and got it. So I think that's a lot of what a lot of people need to do. Just try it. Because when you just try it, it may be something that you be like, this is not as bad as I thought. It's not that bad. But let me see. Yeah, so Libra moon. Let me see what I can do for you. So yeah, color. So it's so many different things, so many different ways you could change colors. And because you're using so many different colors, that may be a little bit challenging for some. Like I said, I will start small. I would not even try to do anything large until you learn how to master two. And you would start with the two colors and then maybe work your way up to three, then maybe four or more. And when you do that, then you will learn how to do it a little bit more and get bigger and better. So when I first started, I did three colors. Yeah, I did three colors. I did like a background color, and then the picture had two colors. It was a mess when I first started because I would carry. So the thing about it is, like I said, it's so overwhelming to do a Graphghan. I kind of don't fault anyone who feels intimidated. In the beginning, I would be like, what the hell is wrong? Why can't you do this? And I get it. It's so much information out there. And it's so much like, okay, I just want to start. I just want to do one thing. And you're like, well, what should I do? Like I said, that's why I started Graphghan University. Graphghan University is has all the information, it has the videos, and it's also a platform where I don't think people realize it, but you can ask questions, and there are things that you could like work on in there so that you could learn. It's so much to doing a Graphghan, but to just start is nothing to it. To just start. So let me see. So listen, right? When I first started crochet period, I did a bag before I did anything else. I didn't even know how to do a granny square for a while. But I had to learn how to do a granny square because I just went straight into doing the big things. I just went straight into doing the big things. And when I got up to the Graphghan, I was like, I don't care. I'm going to find a way to do it. And through trial and error, I got it. I like nailed it. And now that I nailed it, that's why I said I'm going to help others. And I don't want anyone to have to go through what others had to go through or what I went through. And you have to literally search everywhere and then you're still confused and you don't know what the hell is going on, what yarn to even use. That's why I am here, the Graphghan Queen. All right, so I have this. I'm gonna start with this color change right quick. So I'm going to put the camera up in a few. I just gotta wait for it to cool down. I don't know why it just gets so hot. When I did my color chain in the beginning, because I do want to explain that there's so many different ways you could do color changes. There's so many different ways you could do it that you're gonna be like, well, which one do I do? Let me be honest with you. You can do whatever you want, whatever is your preference. The thing we have to understand is what is going to make it look good. What is going to make it look good? What do we have to do to make it look dope, banging, all that? What do we have to do to make that happen? And I think trial and error. Find out which is the best way you can change your colors, which is the most comfortable way you should be able to change your colors. So I'm going to show you what I did in the beginning when I first learned how to change colors, right? This is the way that I was taught by my aunt. Then I had another crochet member that taught me a different way. So wait, let me show you, right? So this way is what I was taught. You make a slip knot like this. Oh my God, I haven't did this in a minute. I have not did this in a minute, but this is just a regular slip knot though. You make your slip knot, right? Tie it up to the damn thing. And then you're going to go into your next stitch. When you go into your next stitch, you're supposed to be able to pick it up, right? And just crochet ahead. The thing about it is when I did this, it was not a smooth sailing. It was not smooth. It was the worst situation ever. And then I had this ball at the end. So this is what I did for all of my Graphghans in the very beginning. And as you can see, it's a color change, yeah, but it's not the best color change. And so I was very intimidated in the beginning because I'm like, well, why do mine look crazy? Why do mine have like the holes on the side? Why, I just kept asking all these questions. And when I would ask my crochet mentor, she would actually say, well, did you do this or did you do that? Or how did you start your color change? And how did you do this? Or maybe if you tried this stitch. So what I think for all beginners, just so that you can feel a little bit at ease, just do 2 colors. A simple graph. I have them in Graphghan University. It's in the photo album. It's under media. That's it. You do that, right? Then when you do your color changing, do what color changing is best for you. So I could show you my pop, lock, and drop. I just showed you this. This is the stupidest thing ever. I don't know who did this, but this right here was stupid. And then someone else was telling me about the Russian join. Yeah, I'm not going to do no Russian join either. That was just a waste of my damn it time. But this right here is just basically going into the stitch as regular. I just didn't understand the whole concept of doing this. I just didn't understand. So majority of color changes always start with the finishing of a stitch. So before we go into that last part of a stitch, then that's when we add the color. So when you add the color, you're just taking the tail, you're putting it through your hook, and you're going through. So this is the second way I learned how to do it. And when you put it through, you just crochet and keep it going. And I would crochet it to where I needed to crochet it, including all of the colors. Again, I was crocheting over. And when you crochet over, you tend to see the colors. And that's the part that made me upset. Why can I see that color underneath? Why can't I get it right? Like, what can I do to make sure that I don't see that color? And I had to tell my crochet mentor, like, what can I do to make sure that I don't see the color in between? And she said, don't add it. So I thought about it. I think I was making things way more difficult than what it really was. I was making things so difficult because I'm thinking it's this elaborate thing to do. And I'm thinking it's this big job that I need to know how to do this, how to do that, how you put this together. And in reality, it's nothing but just regular crocheting. And that's all you're doing is just regular crocheting and changing colors. That's it. I'm gonna crochet over this white so you can see what I'm talking about. The crocheting over, a lot of people do it because I think that's all they know how to. I don't think they know that they don't have to. But crocheting over your yarn only is more of a cosmetic thing. I guess it can be done. I guess you could do it. But if you want it to look good, don't do it. So you could see the color change in between there. And that's the part that I couldn't stand. I was getting so frustrated with why? Why do I see this? And then not only that, when you are doing your color changing, you will let it go. You will let the string hang from one side. And then when you turn around, you will let the string hang from that side. So each time you turn it around, you're going to let the string hang on each side. And you have strings hanging from this side and this side. And you take pictures and you show everybody. And you got the ones that can see the color changing and the strings that's all over the place. When you finish and you have to weave those things in, it can start distorting your image. It doesn't always, but it can. It will start distorting your image because when you're weaving it through to the other side, you're changing your stitch. When you're changing your stitch, you're changing a little bit of the image. So I always teach to never, ever, ever, ever drop any of those strings to the front of you. Always to the back. Whether you're on the right side of your work or the wrong side of your work, you're always going to make sure that you're putting it towards one side. So I have this thing. If you are on the right side, that's the odd side. If you're on the left side, that's the even side of your graph. So everything that's on the odd side, that means that's the part that you started your in the front. So you every time your work is looking at you right side, that means that I'm sorry. That means that your work is always going to be towards the back. So when you turn it around and you're on that odd side, that means your work is get down, Coco. Get down, Coco. Coco, get down. I can't take this daggone cat. She gonna interrupt me one more again, and we gonna have it out. But I know how to get her now, and I just can't find it. Where did it go? I found something that she's scared of, but I can't find it. Where is that? There it is. Finally, I found something that scares her. Nothing scares her but these damn keys. And that was by accident. But anyway, I apologize. My cat always finds ways to get around me. Yeah, so it's the color changing that is the most intimidating thing in the whole goddamn world. And all of the color of yarn. Wait, let me put the camera on so you can see it. This is the other most intimidating thing. Looking at all this damn yarn. And you're like, I'm gonna do what with that? What? What? How's that working? How is that going to work? Yeah. I I thought that was the hardest thing ever as well. It was the hardest thing ever. All right, let me put the. Why do it look like that? Don't you dare. Don't you dare, Coco. She mad. She mad now. She wants to get over here next to me. Sorry. All right. Okay. So let me show you this beautiful yarn that I have. Let me show you the beautiful yarn I have. The intimidating bunch of yarn. The intimidating piles of yarn that you have to do something. You have to do something with it. And what are you going to do? You're going to get it all mixed up and tangled up. And then you're going to be like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I'm done. Listen. I'm so lost. I'm not even yeah, I'm not even caught up to what y'all saying. I'm so out of the loop. Y'all not saying nothing important. Yeah, so like I said, this right here is the most intimidating thing because it's a bunch of yarn, and you're like, I'm gonna put all of this in that one blanket. Hell to the yeah. Now, the thing that I got so nervous about was, is this going to start tangling? Because if it starts tangling, some people get to the point where it starts to tangle and they're like, I'm done. I don't do the untangling of yarn. So you have those who don't want to untangle yarn, and then you have those who don't mind to untangle it. Now, I am the person that likes a lot of messy. Like, behind my work, I have hanging strings, and I have no problem with the hanging strings at all. Other people have to have bobbins or any type of like clips or something like that. So if you are scared of the many hangings of the yarn, how about you try bobbins? Bobbins are, I don't have none. And I actually was going to buy some. And I was like, why am I buying it? I'm not buying it. But I do have a video on bobbins, and it shows you all the different types of bobbins that you could use. And if you're nervous about all of these and if it tangles, how it's supposed to lay, and that's another reason why it's best to have all of the strings hanging from the back. When you do that, the front doesn't have any of those hanging yarns. It just has the ones that are coming from the back. I don't know why, but I'm so dehydrated today. I am so dehydrated. So this is so like I was explaining before, I didn't like when you could see the color changing. And when you see the color changing, it's like, is that how my all of it gonna look? Is it all gonna look like that? And if it is, I don't want to do it no more. And then what you're gonna do? You're gonna go online to try to figure out how do you get rid of the colors from the yarn, but there's no video that says it. There's no video that tells you exactly this. So, of course, you're going to be nervous, intimidated, pissed off, like frustrated, and all of the above, and you're going to give up. But I'm here to tell you, this right here is so simple to fix. This right here is it's a like let me see. It's more of a just let it hang type of thing. You just letting it hang. I was trying to say that a different way. Yeah, you just letting it hang instead of it you crocheting over. And I noticed that when a lot of people do that, um, your blanket becomes heavy. And I actually asked someone, isn't your blanket heavy when you do it that way? She was like, yeah. Okay. She was like, I want it heavy. It gets real cold in the winter. And that's just cold for I don't know what I'm doing and let me handle that on my own. So I just left her alone because if she really needed help, she would have asked me. And that's how it is nowadays. It's like a fine line between me trying to help somebody. If I see something and I know that I can help you with it, like, do you say something? Do you not say something because you don't want to hurt anybody's feeling? And then you don't want to say something that someone may be sensitive. Everybody says, I don't mind constructive criticism until they get constructive criticism. So if this is something that you want to learn, constructive criticism is key because there's so many things into crocheting, period. There's so many things that you could do and you could make mistakes with, period. The same with a Graphghan. If you know how to do a basic single crochet or half double crochet, you could do a Graphghan. That's it. That's all you need to know. We don't need to make it anything more than that. I think also that we need to sometimes jump out and just do it. Jump out on faith and just do it. Don't let anything scare you. Because, you know, a lot of people say scared people don't make money or something like that. You know what I mean, right? You being scared or nervous to move on and move forward to do something that you may want to do, you may not be able to move on or move further in a lot of things. This cannot just be the only thing you're kind of nervous about. When it comes to this is not that bad. It's so many things out there that is like way more complicating. Things that I don't even want to even tackle. It's a difference between you want to learn how to do a Graphghan, you just nervous about it, versus I just don't want to do a Graphghan. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. And I have came across a lot of people who say, I just don't want to do it. I don't want to touch Graphghans. It's just not my thing. And I just leave it alone because I get it. I understand. Just like me and amigurumi. I don't like them damn dolls. I don't like them damn stuffed animals. I cannot do it and I won't do it. But with other people, do what you want to do. Don't let nobody else change it. So, another change of color way, I wanted to wait until my camera was up, is my pop, lock, and drop. So I decided to do pop, lock, and drop because I didn't like this. I didn't like this, and I didn't like when you are changing colors. It had the hole in it, and I didn't like none of that. So I wanted to find a way where it's a smooth transition from the old color to the new color. And when I did the pop, lock, and drop, I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I needed. So, you know, this is a half double crochet. Let me do single crochet. So I will go in, do a regular stitch, but instead of doing a regular single crochet, I'm going to do the extended single crochet. So the extended version is just one other step more. So once you go in, you pull up the loop, you're going to yarn over and pull through one loop. And then that extra step is what locks that in. Then that's when you add your other color. You're just going to add the tail of the next color, of the new color. And I usually leave about this much because when I leave a good amount, I'm able to weave that in. So I'm taking care of everything at once, right? I'm going to make sure my color changing is good. I'm going to make sure that I'm locking it in. I'm making sure that I am going to weave this in. I'm making sure everything is taken care of to make it look good and to make it easy for me. So I'm going to say this is the back of my work because that's where we have the hanging strings, right? So all of my strings is going to go towards this way. When I pull this through, I'm going to tug down on it a little bit. When you tug down on it a little bit, that locks it in even more. Now we're going to just take what we have on the hook and complete your next single crochet. So we're going to go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through one, and then yarn over, pull through two. And as I'm doing that, I'm just tugging on it a little bit, pulling it on a little bit, and I always use this finger to pull. I do that with everything, not just Graphghans, everything. Even with Tunisian crochet, I still do it. I use this finger for my tension. And so, I just go in to the next one, yarn over, pull through that one, yarn over, pull through two. And then I keep going. And as I'm doing it, I'm crocheting over my tail so that I don't have to worry about doing any weaving at the end. So I leave a little bit of the tail. I don't always crochet all the way over. And this part that I have hanging, I may need this for when we get to the next row. So I leave it there. But say if this is going to be the last stitch of this color, then what do? You leave it, you cut it. What do you do? So I would crochet over it, but that's only if the same color is down here. If this color was like a red, I wouldn't add this to it because then you're going to be able to see the red through there. So it sounds overwhelming, but let me tell you something. This is just clearly something that I decided to do on my own just by knowing what I did not want. If you know what you want your item to look like, you know what you're looking for, right? And even if you don't know what you're looking for, that's what Graphghan University is for. I have some images that shows you what's a good graph and what's the bad graph. And in those images that show you what the good graph and what's the bad graph, there's reasons why I did that. I decided to do that because when you are crocheting, the common thing that a lot of people think that they are doing is messing up. When the stitch does not look clean and they feel like there's a hole, like it looks like it's a hole, it does not look like the leg is crocheted all the way, and you're like, why does it look like that? Well, it looks like that because you have a graph that may be an unconnected line. How about this? Let me get that so I can show you exactly what the heck I'm talking about, because this is actually something that someone came to me and said, I'm doing something wrong. I don't know why it doesn't come out like I need it to come out. And I had to say, there's nothing wrong with you. It's your graph. And I think that's where a lot of people are doing the Graphghans, but they don't want to do it anymore because they feel like what they're doing is not coming out right. So let me bring that up because this is something that I learned later down the line. I did not learn in the beginning, and I thought I was doing the best thing ever. I just knew it. I knew that what I was doing was so beautiful, so dope, so diva-ish. And when I got a chance to actually look at it, I couldn't see what the hell the damn words were. I couldn't see what I just crocheted. I was making names and cursive. I didn't know what it said. I can't tell you today what one of my blankets, what the name was. I don't remember. And looking at it, I had to guess. I still don't, like, I'm picturing it and I still can't get it. It made me so upset because I'm like, dang, Shauna, like, what did you do? But at the time, I just knew I was doing the right thing. And the crazy thing is the person who I was giving it to a little baby, and I was showing the grandma. And I showed the grandma and she goes, "It's beautiful." That's how she talked. "It's beautiful. It's beautiful." But what's that? I could really see her name, but it's beautiful. That's how she was talking. And I'm like, you could barely see her name. I see it. And she goes, "Okay. If you see it, maybe it's something wrong with my eyes." Then she goes to her son, who's the father of the baby. She says to him, "Do you see? Do you see what the name is?" And he was like, it's some stitches missing, but yeah, I kind of know what it is." That hurt my goddamn feelings. And ever since then, I was like, we are not doing this. We're not doing this. These are people who don't even crochet. Yeah, we're not doing this no more. I think I could show you what that is. But before I do that, I want to show you what the good graph and bad graph is. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not going to have somebody who don't even crochet tell me that it doesn't look good. Why, Chantel? Why is it so intimidating? Because it's not. Because you got Diva on your side. Diva got you. I swear I do. This right here. I read a lot of people's answers, and they was like, "This is bad. This is not a good graph. This is bad." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, you right, you right." So what? We go to the next one. Is this good or bad? That's good. That's a good graph. Yeah, okay, all right, all right. Is this good or is this bad? No, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. This is not good. This is good. This is bad. But let me tell you why this is bad. So when you are going to crochet it and you look at it, you may say, "Oh, that's the baby duck. That's the Daffy Duck's baby or whatever, right? Or baby Daffy Duck." Um, it is Daffy, right? I think so. Anyway, when you look at it, you're like, "Oh yeah, we know what it is and whatever." But do you really? Because look at it. When you look at it, you're seeing these lines that are a little bit off, and where the eye is, it needs to be like a space in between there, and there's not really a space in between there. When you crochet it, you have to understand that based on the graph that you have, and when you crochet it, if it's not a good graph, your actual crocheted item is going to turn out a little bit different. So I learned how to graph to crochet and crochet to graph. I would literally like crochet something and then graph it, and then I would do the opposite, just to see why those lines were broken and why she couldn't see the baby's name. And this is why she couldn't see the baby's name, because you have these broken lines in here. When you have lines that are not connected, lines that are not fully like a good border, it tends to make your crochet disappear. So when you're crocheting each row, each letter is going to be formed by that stitch that you're doing, and it's going to kind of disappear. So say if you had Marilyn Monroe and you want to crochet her legs, if you have I don't think I have, let me see, I don't think I have it here, but say, we crocheted her legs. This lady right here, I did this. This is actually immaculate. This is a good graph. But say if I had her legs and I put a border around it, but it's a border that has like dots that are formed like diamonds going up in an angle. When you have lines like that, it starts to disappear. Now with her, I didn't give her an outline. I usually do for some and I don't, but I didn't do it here. But if I did, I'm going to show you because I want you guys to get it right. I think when some people start crocheting and then they see that it doesn't look right, why does this picture look like this? It's not because you're doing anything wrong. You have to get a good graph. And how do you get a good graph? The best way to do it is if you're going to look for a graph online, if you go to Etsy, for instance, and you're looking up the Graphghan graph, the best thing to do is to make sure that you can see the actual graph. If you see a picture, it's a difference between a pixeled picture and an actual picture. If you see an actual picture, don't get it, because then you want to know why this person is showing you an actual picture and not how the graph is going to look. And some people I've learned in the past did that because they don't want people to see how jacked up the actual graph is. And the only way you can see it is when you buy it and then they have a clause that says no return, or it's huge. They don't even tell you. And that's kind of sort of like buyer beware. They don't even explain to you that when you are buying this graph, it's like 300 by 300 and you're going to be crocheting it for like 4 years. So just ask questions to whoever you're going on and you're trying to buy the graph. Ask questions. How big is it? How many stitches do I start off with? How many colors is it? Like, you ask those questions because you want to be as direct as possible before you are buying this graph. Me, on the other hand, if you get it from me, you automatically know my graphs are all good. The other thing about my graphs is I tell you the yarn and how many you need to buy. The thing is, you don't have to stick with just one brand. You can stick with any brand of yarn. And I think some people are intimidated by that as well. You can use whatever yarn you want. The only thing that I tell everyone is make sure that it is the same weight. So if you get Red Heart, because Red Heart has the color that you need, and then you get I Love This Yarn because I Love This Yarn has the color you need for something else, and then you get a Dollar Tree yarn. It doesn't matter as long as the weight feels the same. Because when you are mixing up different weights and different, like a silky yarn versus the regular yarn like this, then that definitely will leave holes in it. And then people are like, I don't want to do this no more because it just looked a mess. That is not your fault. It could be because you might have used the wrong yarn. So just be careful with that. You make sure you use the right yarn. I do have a video on that. Make sure that you use bobbins. If you don't want to use bobbins, that's what I don't use bobbins, but it is up to you. You don't have to use the bobbins. Aw, Chantel. It's bad because the lines aren't straight. Okay, so that's one of the hugest problems a lot of people have. If you do not like how the stitches are in a Graphghan and it doesn't look exactly straight to you, that's how it is. I actually seem to like it that way. I like the beauty of it. I also know that my graph, whatever graphs that I do, will make it look a little clearer than others. And that's because I don't do those unconnected lines. So just be careful of the good graphs and the bad graphs, because exactly what you're saying, Chantal, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The good graphs and the bad graphs will make your items look jagged. It looks like it's going like this way and then that way. And so when you are when I do my graphs, I try to see that if I'm on this row, you're going this way. And if you're on this row, you're going that way. And that's another reason why I kind of don't really like C2C either. There's a lot of things I don't like about C2C, but the Graphghan is what we talking about. That is the reason why it may not look good to you, Chantel. But if that's the case, try Tunisian crochet. Tunisian crochet, let me tell you something. I am a pro. Even my crochet mentor mentioned that to me today. She sent me a text saying, you are so good with your Tunisian crochet. She was like, you are getting so good. So she's seeing me. She watching me. Hey. This is what you might want to do, Chantel. Tunisian crochet is straight. It's like bet out, tit it out, yeah. I was experimenting with the name. I'm taking that apart because I don't like it. But yeah, the Tunisian crochet, if you are looking for something straight, Tunisian crochet is where you need to be. The thing about it is, I have never in my life done a blanket, a Tunisian crochet blanket. I've only done scarves, pillows, and bags. Try it. Try like a little sample. In Graphghans University, there's sample graphs. And if you do like a little 15 by 15, see how it looks. If you have a good graph, you may just be surprised at how straight it looks. Because I make good graphs. There's a lot of others that make good graphs too. I just can't pinpoint all of them out. A lot of them I taught. So being that I taught them, they crochet very well. Not crochet, but graph very well. But there's others that do, like, you will look at the actual picture and you're like, I want it. And then it's like 400 by 400. Just be careful. If you want 400 by 400, get it. But me, it's going to take me 10 years and a day to do it. So I kind of sort of stick to the twin size, baby size, crib size blankets. And that's how I'm able to generate them more and more and more. I generate them at least 4 times a month. I did 2 last month though, because I'm kind of slowing it down. This is where I want to be. Tunisian Chantel, we gotta talk, Zoomy. We gotta talk. Tunisian crochet is even easier. It's easier than the Graphghan. The actual single crochet, half double crochet. The changing of the colors is even more easier. It's not as bad. You just gotta try it, because once you try it, then you'll realize it's not as bad as I thought it was. It's intimidating because there's so many steps that you need to do, and because there's so many steps, you don't know where to go. A lot of videos online are not telling you step by step, and it's hard to do that. So this is the reason why I did Graphghans University. So if you're not a part of Graphghans University, get on Graphghans University. Graphghans University is where you need to be. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. But that's a place where I decided I'm going to put everything that is needed for Graphghans. I also have a website that is still in construction. I'm gonna just do it. It's under construction, but that's where I'm gonna have a lot of tutorials and a lot of different things that you can use. I'm gonna have a lot of information on my website. That's the reason why it's taking me so long. So it's going to be like your one-stop shop. So you don't have to go here, there. It'll have my graphs. It'll have all of my actual work and tutorials. And if I am doing a class, it will have a calendar of everything that I'm doing for that month. So that, you know, you guys can frequently go there and see what the Diva is up to, because I'm always up to something. The next one that I am doing another Graphghan, but it's going to be for scarves and Tunisian. Sorry. But you can do regular single crochet for scarves too. So if you want to join that, that's going to be coming up soon. But we got to get finished with this Tunisian class first. But yeah, from the beginning, make sure that you have the best graph ever. If you are going to start and you're just going to say, I'm just going to do this and I'm going to see how this comes out, the best thing to do is look for a good graph and make sure you get the size depending on what you want, and make sure that the size is what you want. You don't want anything too big. Make sure that the colors are something that you can get. Ask that person before you purchase it, because if you're going to purchase it on Etsy, you want to make sure that you get all the answers up front, because if you don't, you're going to buy a graph that you may not be able to use. Or you could purchase some on there's some on in Facebook. There's a lot of us that still sell graphs on Facebook. So if you're gonna go to, you know, a group and get a graph from there, just make sure you ask, like, what size is it, what how many colors is in here. And the main questions that a lot of people ask, and this is how I know you don't really know too much, is what kind of graph, what kind of stitch do I use for your graphs? That's actually a very common mistake, because a lot of people were taught that this graph is only used for single crochet. This graph is only used for double crochet. This graph is, that is a myth. The only thing I think you can kind of sort of change it is with knit, and even still, not really. You can use the same graph for everything. My graphs, I don't know about anybody else's, my graphs you could use for everything. Everything. Single crochet, half double crochet, Tunisian, C2C, knitting, all of those stitches and crafts, even cross stitch. You can use the same exact graph. I think that is the number one myth is, and the number one question I get a lot, and especially on my Etsy, is what stitch can I use for your graphs? And I even put it in a description. I guess they didn't read it. That it's single crochet. The only thing that I suggest never to do is double crochet, because it distorts your image. When it distorts your image, it's going to be more long and really skinny. So your blanket is not going to be the width and the length that you need it to be, because when you're doing double crochet is very narrow and very long. So it's best to just do not do double crochet. I do know some people are trying to do clothes, like the pants and the shorts, and you know, they want to do that and then add a Graphghan to it. The thing about doing that is, if you're going to do double crochet, it's gonna kind of distort it a little bit. I'm not gonna say don't do it. I won't do it. I wouldn't do it. I will always try to convert the pattern to single crochet or half double crochet, because double crochet can distort your image. If it's like block letters, you could get away with it. If it's a pattern, if you're making clothes and it's an actual pattern that you're using DC with, you could get away with it. I don't suggest it though, at all. From the past and what I've done, it definitely makes a difference. Size make a difference, right, Disha? Size make a difference. Your graph make a difference. So when you are looking for that graph, just make sure you ask those questions. What colors? What size? Make sure you ask those questions. And then once you get your graph, you are able to go get your yarn. And like I said, it could be any brand you want. Just make sure that it's the same weight. That's it. Get your yarn. I suggest, the reason why I suggest this, I suggest getting a really good hook. When you're changing colors, you want it to be as smooth as possible. You do not want any static. You will see the difference if you are so used to just using the Susan Bates or the boy hooks. If you're just used to doing that, wait until you touch a clover or a furrow hook. Either one. I like both, but I use the clover way more. The clover hook is so smooth. When I touched the clover hook from the Susan Bates and the boy, it was like I could never go back. Never, ever, 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 ever go back. The reason why is it makes a difference. Your hook make a difference because it may be a reason why you can't change colors. Because when you're using the Susan Bates or the boy, the yarn is not as smooth. So let me see if I don't even think I have one anymore. I don't know. I don't even have one that size. I don't think I have one anymore. But when you're using these, it's like a static to it. It's almost like as you're going, the yarn is not sliding off as like how you need it to slide off. It's not. Yeah, the yarn is not sliding off. I don't know who decided to do this, but I am so thankful that they decided to change it. So when they changed it and they used this, I don't know what type of metal this is, but when they decided to use this, it changed everything because the yarn slides off the hook. And when it slides off the hook, it's easier for you to crochet. See, I could crochet quicker with this. That's crazy. It's easier to change your colors. It's easier for your stitches. It's so much easier. Just period. Just easier. And I think that we need to look more into getting better hooks anyway, because it's good for our hands. Because the more you're using that static hook, you don't realize that your tension may be a little bit tighter. And when you have a better hook, it is way smoother and you don't have to hold on to it tighter. So all of these things make a little bit of sense. It may not make sense until you use it and you do it. Then it makes sense. So once you got your yarn and your hook, clover or furrow, or whatever is comfortable to you. I'm not sponsoring none of them. I'm just saying what I like to use. Once you get that, you have to put your graph together. Your graph, I can't speak for anybody else's, but my graphs, they come out in pages. And when they come out in pages, you just gotta like glue it or tape it at the seam. And once you do that, I have a video for that too. I have a video on how to put together. See, I did it everything in like sections for everyone. Where you at? I was about to get her. Yeah, I did everything in sections. So if you ever wanted to look at my videos, there's one in the playlist of Graphghan University, and then you could look at, you know, all the other things to maybe help you. So the other thing is, after you get your graph together and put your graph together, start setting up your yarn based off of your graph. That's how you're going to look at your yarn. If you're going to use bobbins, you got to look at, you know, how much you're going to set up with bobbins. If you're going to do something that have a large background, you need like 2 skeins, like one on this side, one on that side. Sometimes I split the skeins up by taking a good chunk from the middle, cutting it, and like half on this side, half on that side. And then in the middle, I don't use bobbins, but if you use bobbins, just wrap up your bobbins. And then Gail, I think she does them all for like the whole blanket, and then put it in like a bucket or something like that, and each time she needs it, she will use it. But I just like letting it hang. Kind of sort of like this. I let it hang. It looks a mess, but I know my mess. And I think that is not a problem to me to have it all down like this. No, is it? Because I know a lot of people like, is it tangled? No, they're not. Actually, it's not tangled. But don't get me wrong, it can be. So lately what I've been doing is I bought sheets, crib size sheets, or twin size, something that I can wrap my current project up. I have a cat now. I never had a cat until February, so I had to learn different ways to keep it and protect the yarn away from her, who follows me everywhere. So I would take the sheet and put it down and put all of my actual project in there. And when I have the strings hanging, I just take it and put it on top. And then I just roll it up. You can either fold it up or roll it up, whatever you want to do. That way, when I get it again the next day, I just unfold it or unroll it, and it's the same exact way. I think doing it that way has been the easiest by far for me. And if you did bobbins, you ain't even got to worry about them strings hanging. So when you put it away, the strings are not really going to be all over the place because they're going to be in the bobbins. You can still get some type of twisting, but it's not really that serious. If the tangling of yarn is something that will intimidate you, try the bobbins. And there's different versions of the bobbins, so that's why I said there's a video that I have on just bobbins. You can look at that. Yeah, so after that, you do your chains. If you have a graph that's 100 by 100, you're gonna do 100 chains, and you're gonna start in that very first chain. The thing about it is, a lot of people are very intimidated by not having an extra chain. So if it was 100 by 100, you would need 100 chains plus 1 for your turning chain, or plus 2 if it's HDC for your turning chain. I don't do the plus 1 or plus 2, but that don't mean you can't. You can. I don't do it because I don't like the bump it gives at the end. So if you do that, it's fine. Just make sure that you do the 100, whatever you need, whatever chains you need to start your foundation, plus your turning chain. Then when you do that and you do your first row, just count it and make sure you have those stitches that you need. If you want to make it easier so it's not overwhelming, because anything more than 100, sometimes 50 is a lot to me. If it is, take some stitch markers and put it in every 10. So I noticed that when I helped someone out, this part helped. So if you're going to do 100 or 200 or whatever, if you're going to do 100 and that's your width, every 10 stitches, you put a stitch marker. So when you're looking at the actual graph, where the bold, because I put on my graphs the bold lines on every 10th row and every 10th stitch. So wherever the 10th stitch is, that's where your stitch marker is going to be. And each 10th stitches is where your stitch marker is going to be and where the bold line is going to be. That helps you a whole lot so that it's not overwhelming when you're looking at the graph and you're looking at your project and you're like, I don't know where I'm at. Or, my count is off. Your count will be easier to calculate if you put stitch markers in every 10 stitches. So every 10 stitches, stitch marker, and line it up with your graph so that as you're going, you can look at your graph, and whatever is on your graph should be right in front of you. And that's exactly how you're going to do it. Each square equals one stitch. It could be one single crochet stitch, one half double crochet stitch, one knit cross stitch. If you're doing C2C, it'd be one block. So each square equals one stitch. You start at the bottom on the right and work your way over to the left. Then you go to the next row and then you start from the left over to the right. Then you stop, go to the next row, and then right to left. So all you're doing is crocheting from right to left, left to right, right to left, left to right. If that's not clear for you, we do written instructions. And the written instructions, it tells you, and it has an arrow. So if you're going right to left, the arrow is going to go towards the right, and it's going to tell you you're going to need 100 white. And then the next one, you're going to need 100 white. And then maybe the next one is going to say you're going to need 51 white and 2 black and 48 white. So it will be written for you, and that may be easy for some. Some the graph is easy, and some the written instructions is easy. So once you have that part, once you get to crocheting your stitches, you're just going to make sure that your color changing is easy for you. You could do my pop, lock, and drop. I have videos on that. You could look that up. Or you could do any color changing that you regularly do. The thing is, I just had to find out which one worked better for me in my work, because I don't like the color changing how it looks. I don't like to see the old number and the old color in the mix of where I need the new color to be. I don't like that. So that's why I did the pop, lock, and drop, where you're literally locking it in and dropping it. So yeah, after that, your color changing is down pat. Just make sure you count your whole way, and that's basically it. And then you finish it up with your, if you want a border or whatever. I don't think it will be as intimidating if you just start with something small, maybe 2 colors, and you know how to do your color changing. Practice with it a little bit. Practice with color changing a little bit. That's all you really need to start. I have in Graphghans University, I have it tells you like the start, what you need to start, what you have to do to start. It tells you that in there. And it is not as bad as you think. So I'm gonna show you that. I'm gonna see if I have it. That picture I was trying to tell you about, like the one I don't like, the picture that I don't like. I'm trying to show you that. But in the meantime, while I'm looking for that, FedEx lost an order of Big Twist yarn while they searched for it. Joanne sent another order. When I finally got it from FedEx, I called Joanne's. They said since I was honest, keep it, no charge. That was so left field, Cheryl. Thanks. But that was good. Joanne's is really good for that because that's what happened to me last year when it was a problem with the discontinued yarn. It was some kind of discontinued yarn, and they, instead of I only ordered 4, they wound up giving me 16 though. Isn't that crazy? I got 16. Yep. So because it was like a back order and it was taking forever, ever. And I'm like, yo, what is going on? And so they gave me a lot of it. The crazy thing is, it's discontinued yarn. I'm like, can y'all do that? But I mean, they're Joanne's. They can. Um, anyone else have any questions that they want to get answered? I'm trying to look for the photos. YouTube done changed that. They done changed everything. Interesting. Probably because I don't ever go on nobody's profile page. I know people think I'm crazy, but kind of. Sometimes I don't even know who I'm talking to, and you guys are talking to me. I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't look at your pages. Okay, I found a lot of crazy stuff that I don't want y'all to see. But I'm definitely going to show you because it's a learning experience. But there's some stuff that I'm like, I don't ever want to show anyone this again. Where is that ugly blanket? Oh, here it is. I'm about to say, where is the ugly blanket? Here it is. This blanket, this lady she really got on my nerves when she told me about this blanket. But I'm glad she did it because it actually changed me. Let me see. Let me see if I can make it a little larger. So, yeah, this is what I gave to a friend of a friend, baby. And this is when I first began. I was just starting, and I thought this was the prettiest shit ever. And I just made it up out of my head. And it was a little app online that you could put the name and it gives you the letters, the cursive letters. The thing about it is, I didn't know any better. So not only did I crochet over like, if you was to look at this, you would be able to see the pink and the white. And the last name, that's where she was like, I can't see it. Well, the reason why she couldn't see is because I had so many unconnected lines. I didn't know anything about it in the beginning. And so this is something that people start getting intimidated about. Like, well, what did I do? What did I do wrong? And why is it when I make these stitches, it doesn't come out good? And it's not you, it's the graph. So when I look at this, and each time I look at it, I can actually picture the pixeled name. I remember actually doing it from my phone, and this was back in the days. I didn't print it out or anything. I was using my phone, and the way I was doing it was, I don't know, I can't even explain it to you, but I'm determined. I'm a very determined person. So I'm that chick that's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. And even if it's the wrong way, I'm still going to try it. And that's what I did. And that's how this came out. And yeah, because she said something, her son said something, and I'm like, these are non-crocheters. Because my crochet mentor always said, if you make a mistake, they won't know because they don't crochet. Well, these two knew. They knew. They knew they couldn't see their last name. It's their last name too. They couldn't see it. I felt some type of way. I really did. I felt some type of way, but I know one thing. I went and got it fixed ASAP. So, I'm lying. I didn't get it ASAP. I fixed it though, eventually down the line, but ASAP, I couldn't fix it ASAP because I still didn't know what I was doing wrong. I didn't know that it was the actual graph. And this is when I started doing my research. But in the meantime, I kept crocheting. So I did the same with this. I used the online, there was a little thing that came up with the graph when you put a name in. And I know a lot of people said this don't look bad, but it does. It looks bad. And if I have the tools that I have today back then, this right here would have been a off the chain graph because I'm looking at it like, ooh, I could fix this, I could fix that, because that's what I do. But I don't think you can see it. But what I also did was I used to take the little tiny graphs that you find on Pinterest or Google or something, and it's called polar bead patterns. And I would take it and I would make that, and then I would crochet around it, like crochet the sides, crochet, like I would crochet around it so that I could make it into this blanket. So once I got to a certain, I guess, width, that's when I added the top part, which was the Joshua part. So I was kind of creative with how I was going to do this and how I was going to do that, but it was a hot ass mess. And was I intimidated to do it? Hell no. I was like, I'm going to find a way. And this was the hardest way ever. And I couldn't believe I even tried to dare to do it. But yeah, I did. And then I was teaching a couple of other people, and I told them to do the same thing. Instead of, but then eventually down the line, I started not liking this way. So I was like, do a granny square around it. So we would do the polar bead patterns and then do the granny square around it. I think I have something with that. This. Another one that I had a horrible graph. You can't even see the damn name because it was such a horrible graph. But what I would do is I would crochet that, and then I would add the granny square around it. That is, I thought that was the best thing ever to do, and to me it was really, really quick. But the more I look at it now, the more I see this was the stupidest thing I ever did. Because if you see the heart, it's supposed to be a black border around it. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a black border that was around it. But let me tell you something. The black border that was around it wasn't, it was there, but it wasn't there. I'll show you in a few. So you know what to look for. This is what I was talking about with the unconnected lines. So as you can see with Betty Boop, there's a border. And when you see the border, not the outline. The outline of her is black. So when you see it, if you can tell, there's a lot of lines that are not connecting. It's not connecting at all. If you see it, it looks like a hot mess. It looks like a hot mess. Yeah, it was a hot mess. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just thought I was doing something. And if you see here, the lines are not as bold as it should be. And that's when I was like, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Why aren't the lines bold? Like, why are they disappearing? They're appearing and disappearing. Why? And I realized I had to go into the whole anatomy of that's what I do. I do a lot of research. I went into the whole anatomy of a stitch. And when we crochet, we're crocheting from right to left, left to right. So when we do that, and you do not do a good graph based off of that right to left, left to right, you're going to get that. You're going to get the lines that look like they're not connected. And if you could play connect the dots with it, that's not good at all. It's not good at all. This one I made for my best friend, and the same thing. I was not doing I wasn't doing a good job with the little app. No, it wasn't even an app. It was something online that I would just put a name in and it would give me the graph for it. And I wasn't doing a good job with it. And the whole parlor bead patterns, like poor Tweety, it looks like he's losing part of his face. So this is what I mean by just being careful with a good graph or bad graph, because that can make or break your image, and you might think that you're doing something wrong when in reality you're not. Same thing here. I don't know. I just I'm just glad I don't do that no more. I'm just glad. I even messed up this one. Like, who messes up Batman? I did. I messed up Batman. I messed this up. I thought I was doing something with this. The baby name was Dreams. I was like, how about, like, I had it in my head. How about, Dream is going to look like stars. But I didn't have the software that I have now where I can make the graph. So I literally was doing it as I was going, which is crazy because I literally was doing graphs before I knew I was doing graphs. But, I was just made to do this. But yeah, I would look at, as I crochet, I would look at what I was doing and try to figure out which one was next. And that's how I make my graphs in my head. And this one didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out. But this one was also the lesson that I needed so that the next one I made was way better. Is there any other questions? If one did bobbins, how many would one do for that kind of graph? If you need bobbins and you was trying to do, well, I don't know which graph you was talking about, but uh let me give you an example. Let me see. Let me pull up something real quick so I can give you an example. Something not too bad. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. So I could give you an idea on how many what bobbins you need and how many. My mouth is dry already. I don't know what's wrong with me today. So when you're doing when you need to know how many bobbins you're gonna need, I always look at the background. The background is the most you're gonna need. So I would use two skeins for the background. So one would be on this side right here, and the other one would be on this side. So I would have the same color bobbin for whatever color you're going to make your background. I would have the same color bobbin. Like I said, I wouldn't use bobbins because the bobbins is not big enough. So I probably would like make a cake or a big ball or just use the skeins. I would go and like take a big chunk of the middle out and cut it. And then I have one on this side and one on that side. And that's what I would use for the background, the sides. Now here in the middle, when you are going, wait a minute, when you are going you know, from right to left, left to right, the first color change that you're going to need is the red. So you know you're going to need to do a good amount of red. So you're going to have the red bobbin. And then the next ones are the yellow and the blue. So you're going to definitely need the yellow and the blue bobbins next. So I always start at the bottom, but you could just literally look at your graph and you could say, I need a lot of this and a little bit of this. But you're asking for the Betty Boop. Let me see if I have a Betty Boop so I can show you better. Betty Boop. Sure do. I sure do have a lot. Betty Boop is a big seller. Oh no. Oh no. I'll show you that in a minute. I'm not showing you right now. Oh no. I didn't finish it, so it looks a hot mess. All right, I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna show you this one. I didn't even know I had that graph. Interesting. All right, so this is the Betty Boop breast cancer one. If you notice, let me see. This is actually supposed to be black. So for something like this, again, the background, if you use white for the background, I would definitely have the skeins of yarn one side, skeins of yarn on the other side, the white. Then that right here is we need a good amount of the pink. So I would do at least 3 or 4 or 5 large ones for that pink. And then you're going to need a couple of small white ones. To start off with, you're going to need at least 2 or 3 of the pink right here, the light pink. And then you would need the black. So you have black on this side and black on that side. I would definitely do 3 blacks. Why? Because you have black on this side, and black right here in the middle. And just to be on the safe side so that you are not going to cross-contaminate, meaning crochet over the colors. If you do that, you're going to be able to see the black under the pink or the pink under the black. You don't want to do that. So definitely have 3 bobbins that are black. And then I would do the 2, the 2 pink, the 2 dark pink. So I would have 1 bobbin on this side, 1 bobbin on that side. And the more you go up, you would need the whatever skin tone you're going to use for her. And then you're going to go up, you're going to need more black. So as you're going up, the graph is going to start splitting. You're going to need more black. And then you're going to need another bobbin. So I would say like, I can't tell you what you're going to need for the whole thing, but to start off with, you're definitely going to need at least the 2 skeins for the background color, 3 for the light pink, 2 for the dark pink, and I would do like 5 or 6 for the black. Anytime you're doing something with an outline, like how she has, if you have an outline of black or whatever color, I would always do multiple things of bobbins. Being that I don't use bobbins, I literally take like the string like this and then put it down to the side, take the string like this, because I know I'm going to eventually need it. So I might have a pile of just like maybe 4 piles of yarn or 6, depending on what I'm doing, because I know eventually I'm going to need more of that black because it's coming up. I'm going to need more. I'm going to need, because the same ones that's coming up and going under her arm, you need for the inside of where the shape of her underarm is, where the shirt is. So I just tend to look at from the bottom going up what colors. So basically for each color you need bobbins, and they have the large bobbins and they have the small bobbins. So I would do like a bunch of small and a bunch of large. And then I think they have medium. You can make your cakes. I just don't do it though. I don't like bobbins. I don't like bobbins at all. It's just so time consuming for me, and I just don't like them. It's in my way. It's just in my way. Um, I am wondering about those lines around her body. That's scary. You are wonderful, by the way. Thank you, Krista. Yeah, don't be scared because you are looking at it overall. You're looking at it like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That's a lot. That's a lot. Let me tell you something. It does look a lot, but you're taking it into pieces. As you're going, you're doing it line for line. So don't even worry about that up there because that up there is not pertaining to you right now. You're starting at the bottom. So when you start at the bottom, you're literally going from right here, and then you're going to do that one black, and then you're going to, keep on going. Maybe that's 10 pink. And then you're just looking at it from line to line, and each row is just going to be a different sequence, a different type of color. It used to always be kind of crazy to me when I look at it and I'm like, oh, no, 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 I'm not doing that. That's just too much. But I realize it's in pieces. It's row by row. So if you're worrying about one row at a time, that can help way more than looking at it from a whole. When you look at it from a whole, you're like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, that's too much. And I think that's what makes a lot of people scared with that part too. They're looking at the image and they're like, oh no, 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 that's just too much. I've done color changing where I've changed at least 60 times in one row or more. And it doesn't even have to be a real elaborate, detailed blanket either. It's just a matter of all those color changing is probably because of the outline, or it may be like a little detail in there. And all those different color changes that you're doing, it's the same thing as if you was making one large blanket with just the color changes maybe at the end. You're just changing it multiple times in that one row. Don't make it more than what it actually is, because it is not as bad as you think. Try it out in moderation. Do something small. And if you need help, that's what we're here for. Graphghans University is open all the time. And I have videos on this channel, Graphghans University, in the playlist, or there's other ones that you can look at as well. I don't think there's I think there's way more than that. And then you might want to try graphing too, because I noticed that some people who graph can understand the color changing and everything as well. It's something that I love, and it's something that I'm gonna do forever. Forever. Like I can do whatever I want. When I am creating these things, I literally look at the person that I'm creating it for, and I look at what is going to be the best one that fits that particular person. So my sister order from me all the time. She supports me like crazy. So when my sister orders from me, I automatically know just do my damn thing, because when I do my damn thing, I get more and more and more and more. She not only buys a lot from me, she has others in her sorority buy from me as well. And that is how I'm able to get orders on top of orders on top of orders. Like, I have to do this bag. I have to do 5 of them actually. And a blanket. 5 of them. Like, you get a lot of orders and consistency. So I say this right here is a moneymaker. Tunisian Crochet, I'm gonna do another class after this one too, because I think Tunisian Crochet is like the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. I love it. I love Tunisian Crochet. It's like so dope to me. And the lines are way straighter. Let me see. As like I say, as you start your Graphghan and see it coming into reality, you'll want to keep going. It's great. Right. Like I mentioned in the beginning, it's almost like a puzzle. So when you are, creating your puzzle, you know that your picture is starting to come to life. So you want to keep going because you want to see your picture come to life. Man, I love it. I love it because you're seeing this graph come to life, and you can add your level one name. You can add a saying. You can do whatever you want with them, and that's why I love them so much. Did you make your book printable yet? No, I'm still waiting for Amazon to approve my publishing rights so that it could go on Kindle. But yeah, Tunisian is, for me, it's fast. I'm fast with Tunisian. I'm about to finish this up. By tomorrow I should be finished with this, and then I'm gonna make it into the bag. But if there's no more questions, I'm good to go. I'm good to go. Yes, Chantel. Yes, yes, yes. We could talk because you could do it. I know you could. You're gonna need to get one for your precious little one that's coming. So get up on the Graphghans, girl. Even if it's something small, you don't have to do anything big. Don't have to do anything really crazy and huge. Don't be so overwhelmed that you don't even try. At least try. And if you want help, I'm here to help. If you need me to help you with, what graph you want to start with, or yarn or whatever, let me know. That's what I'm here for. Yes, join Graphghans University. I think I added the link to it. Yep. And when you join Graphghans University, make sure that you just give me a minute. I can approve you. And whenever I do classes, jump on the classes. I have people that's been taking my classes from day one, and still they know how to do it. They do beautiful jobs, but they still take the class because they know that I'm always revamping my stuff. I'm always doing something a little bit different. This hair is getting on my nerves. I'm always learning different things and changing up the game, and yeah, I love it. I love it so much that I'm going to keep my mind open and keep going for more and more and more. I have so many things in store. You guys are going to be like, I'm trying to stop the orders, the custom orders. People beg me, please, 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 please. And I'm like, nope, I cut it down. 2 per month now, 2 per month. And then I wound up doing like 4 per month because I can't say no. But yes, it's crazy how I am able to come up with different ways of just changing the game. And the Tunisian, I did Tunisian classes before, but the ladies who follow me, who know how to do Tunisian crochet, took the class anyway. And now, even more excited because this time my Tunisian cow is like off the chain. And right now we're about to put everything together and we're going to be making some bags, and I'm excited about that. I'm so excited about that because I'm doing one myself. So I'm always changing the game, and I do that because I like to learn new things, and not only am I learning something new, I love to teach it. And it's like so many different beautiful creations. Like I'm actually going to do more tutorials on my channel. Actually, like tutorials of patterns that I'm coming out with, because I have some patterns that I'm in the process of making. And I'm gonna do a couple of items of clothing and stuff like that. And I'm gonna do like rugs, but they're gonna be circular, and it's gonna be Graphghans. So you're gonna, if you want to learn how to do like a circular Graphghan, or like, you know, whatever, I'm gonna do it. And when I do it, you guys can be there or you could be square, because I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to do more tutorials and more recorded so that they could be like short videos. I already decided I was going to do that. I already have videos. I just need to edit them. Also, my graphs, they're on Etsy. You could check them out. They are going to be on sale. They were supposed to be on sale today, but for something happened with Etsy. I don't know what happened. It was like a glitch. And I may not be able to put it on sale until tomorrow because it wouldn't go through today. So everything's going to be on sale. It's going to be like a back to school sale. And everything that everyone purchases is going to go towards the kids and the school supplies that they need. I do this every year, sometimes more. And this is something that I try to do for my community. And then, you know, help those who are in need. So if you, anything that you purchase, anything from me that you buy is going to go towards the kids. I didn't realize how bad the situation is, how bad they need. So I'm going to do whatever I can do because that's how I love to do it. My last name Givens. I got to do it. So I got to give. And I'm always blessed because when I didn't have, somebody was there to help me. When I was homeless, somebody was there to help me. So now I just like to give back. And I do it every year. So for those who know me, you know this is me all day, every day. I even post it and everything. I post like the kids getting it, videos, all the donations. I always like I'm very upfront with all of that. So yeah, I'm gonna do that next. And one more thing before I go. I am going to do an actual podcast. It's gonna be non-crochet related, but it's gonna be about women. I'm gonna have special guests. I'm gonna have people come on, and it's gonna be like a women's forum, and we're gonna talk about women things. So if there's any topics that you want to talk about, is there anyone that you want me to interview? Is there anyone you want to speak about something? Let me know. Put it in the comments below, and I can see if I can make that happen. This Thursday is going to be the very first non-fiber artist related podcast. Strictly women. This is a test run, but I want to see, because you don't understand how many people ask, can they be on my podcast? And I'm like, you don't even crochet. But they think that this is an actual podcast. Well, on my Sundays. So I said, I'm going to try this out. So this is going to be a test run. And we're going to talk about women things that women go through, relationship, kids. The first one so far that I was asked was this Thursday. We're going to talk about kids, our kids, and them going back to school, and you know how we feel. I want to see if I can get an actual, you know, person who works for a school system and a teacher. I'm going to get them to come on here and talk and maybe answer some questions. Maybe some people are like confused on what's going on and some things that they may need help with. Resources. I'm going to use this podcast for resources. Doesn't matter where you're at. I'm going to get resources everywhere. I'm going to use that podcast for resources and things like that. We're still going through this whole pandemic thing. We're still learning things, not knowing what to do, not understanding why we're changing. Because I went through, and you may not have known it, but last month I went through a situation where I was so unhappy, so depressed, so not feeling great with myself. And I couldn't understand how I was able to be this person last year in January, and now I'm this totally different person now. And I couldn't understand it. And I kept crying and crying and crying. And I couldn't understand why can't I do what I did before this pandemic? Before I turned 43. Why? And I found out a lot of things on why. So maybe these are the things that we could talk about and understand that these changes is nothing bad with us, because I really thought it was me. I thought it was me, and I thought it was something that I was doing wrong, and it wasn't me at all whatsoever. We also don't know that our kids are going through it. They may not tell you, because I had to find out through someone else about my son and how he feels and the stuff he's going through. That's what I'm going to use the podcast for, and it's going to be non-crochet related though. So you could come, you could join. Of course, I'm going to do advertisement and stuff like that, but it'll be the test run. So that's just about it. I am going. Have a good night, and come on and check us out on Thursday and see how the podcast is going to be. So have a good night.